Welcome back to T&K, everybody. Taylor here today with a product review of the Yuneec Typhoon Q500 4K Quadcopter. If you guys enjoy the content we're putting out here on T&K, please consider hitting the subscribe button and helping us keep the lights on. Here we've got the Yuneec Typhoon Q500 4K. What that means, aside from the other ones, is this has the CGO, whichever you want to call it, 3 gimbal camera that comes attached on the quad out of the box. What that means is you don't have to use any outside capture devices such as using a GoPro gimbal. You're able to get video, photo, whatever you want to do with this directly from the gimbal attached camera itself. So there's no need for any extra doohickeys. You're good to go right off rip. Along with that, when you use the ST10 Plus controller that we'll get into here in a second, you have a live FPV 5.5-inch LCD display that connects directly with the gimbal, giving you a first-person view of what your drone is seeing from the attached gimbal. This particular model does not come with the aluminum case, so the box is a little smaller and it only comes with 1 battery. So that's going to be the main difference between this model and one that's more expensive, which is your $799 model. This one can be generally found about $699, and I'll provide some product links in the description below. Enough talking, let's get a closer look at the box, and then let's go ahead and tear this apart. Alright guys, I'm going to start off by apologizing for the shakiness of the camera. This is a very large box, so it requires me to go hands-on. But as you can see, we've got the front of the box here, with just some brief little highlights that are included with this, such as the 4K, Full HD 1080p, no distortion lens, 12 megapixels remote camera settings, follow me feature, and the watch me feature, as well as much more. Going over to the side of the box gives us a more in-depth description of what's included. As you see, we've got the aircraft, and you can go ahead and pause this if you want to see the specifics, but I'm going to go in them as I go. As well as the gimbal camera, and the personal ground station, as well as the Steadygrip. And once more on the back, again, just letting you know what comes inside. Now, I've already gone ahead and removed the internals here so we can get right into it. However, I did want to just show you the internal packing that the drone comes in, which is this styrofoam material. Now we've gotten to the important stuff, what actually comes inside the box. To immediately start off, we've got the drone. We'll take a closer look here in a second at it, but we've got the quadcopter itself. We've got the Steadygrip, and we've got the ST10 Plus quadcopter controller. Those 3 items are our primary targets in this unboxing, but you're also supplied with several accessories as well that we can now go into. You got all of your paperwork, manuals, warranty, all that stuff. Joking aside, guys, read the manual and stuff before you fly this. You're spending way too much money to not exactly know what you're doing with this thing. So please do yourself the favor and read that paperwork. It might just save you from some expensive fixes. So the bundle comes with 8 props total, 4 in the A category and 4 in the B category. Now that correlates with where you put that particular prop on the quad. And for that, you're going to have to either look at the motors themselves that are all labeled, or look at your product manual so you know exactly where to put them. If you don't put them properly, your quadcopter will not fly accurately, and you can wreck it in doing so. It also comes with 1 Yuneec branded battery, obviously branded, but the reason I say that is because I also have a second battery here. While 1 battery is fantastic, I recommend right off rip getting a second battery. What I have right here is the MorePilot replacement Yuneec battery. When I say replacement, it just means that it also works with it for the Q500. I recommend purchasing this. I will also have a link to this on Amazon in the description below. Purchase this. But it comes with one Yuneec branded battery, which will give you approximately 15-25 minutes. Varying forums, varying reviews will give you numbers anywhere between there. It all comes down to weather conditions, wind, how you're flying, recording, what photos you're taking. There's a lot that goes into the total flight time of the quad. So it really, your mileage is going to vary, but that's where you can safely put yourself in. Comes with a little bag of accessories, which includes your USB cable, a little dongle to update your quad, a replacement UV filter that goes on the front of the gimbal, and it also comes with a 16 gigabyte SD card motor holder. What this is you put it around the motor and it allows you just to hold on to it. It's like a motor wrench. Hold on to it while you tighten or loosen the props if you need the extra assistance. A sunshade, your LiPo balancing smart charger with a regular wall outlet plug, or it has the cigarette 12 volt lighter for a vehicle. Now that's everything that comes in the box. Let's get to what really matters. Take a closer look at the drone with the controller as well as that Steadygrip. Let's go ahead and let's put the battery into the quad, which the battery compartment is located on the bottom. Push it, opens up. Make sure you're putting it in the proper way. Go ahead and insert. And don't ever force it in, just push it in snug, close it up, and we're good to go there. Taking a closer look at the front, you can see we have that gimbal. We can take this plastic shroud, set it aside. I like to use that for transportation just so it holds the gimbal and the gimbal's not just free floating while you're moving around. There you go, we got the 4K CGO3 camera, and on the bottom of the camera itself, if I can get that to focus, you got a USB plug-in as well as your slot for an SD card. I always like to turn the controller ground station on first prior to turning the quad on, so we can let that warm up. Then we can go ahead and turn the quadcopter on as well. And always turn this on a flat surface so the gimbal can level itself out automatically. Give it everything a second to turn on. So you can see the gimbal just adjusted itself. Now we're waiting for the ground station controller to connect. We got the ground controller attached now. It says SD card is not detected because there's not one in there. Alright, so now you can see the gimbal. There's me waving hi. And you can see your quick display. You've got your battery voltage for the quad itself. You've got altitude above sea level. You've got your speed, you've got your distance, so as the drone is flying away, that number will go up in feet. You have your GPS position, which right now is zeros, it hasn't fully connected yet. You've got how many satellites are, not sure if they're in the area or how many satellites it's attached to, because up here as well, you've got a little satellite symbol that shows 5, however that symbol shows 8. So I think this might be the ground station, and that's the how many are connected to the quad itself. That could be different. If it is, put a comment letting me know. Thank you. That's the GPS status. Obviously it's acquiring right now. We're inside, so it normally takes a second. And mode ready. When you're in flight, that'll tell you whether it's in angle, smart, or home. And you've got a bunch of different settings down here that we're not going to necessarily get into. Now this is a touch screen display. This is running off an Android device. So right here you've got some touch sensitive buttons as well. If you can see those, you've got like a home, it will take you back to here if you're in the settings or anything, a go back, all those kind of things. Now, looking at the controller up here, you've got trim options, as well. This is going to be your throttle up, down, and yaw, so the horizontal movement of the quadcopter. Here you've got your forward, back, left, and right movements. Obviously, it's going to be in relation to the direction of your quadcopter. So if you push forward, as of right now, if it was flying, it would come at me. If I was to push back, it would go back. Up at the top right here, you've got your mode selector. You've got smart up at the top, angle for normal flight, and your return to home. So in smart mode, it's kind of the follow me function. It'll always remain a specific distance away from the ground controller, at which point you can hit this little vision button right here. That is no longer there, it kind of disappeared. But you can hit that vision button and that's how you activate the follow me feature. In angle mode, that is normal flight. That is you in full operation. And the return to home feature makes the quadcopter come home. Now, the big red button is the start stop button. Obviously the motors are not engaged right now. If we hold it for a brief second, all right, you've got the motors on now, they are spinning. We're inside, so we're not gonna fly it, so we're gonna go ahead and turn it off. But this gives you a nice brief audio concept of how loud this quad is, which in reality, it's not that loud. So let's go ahead and turn those off so I don't chop my arms off. All right, those are now off. But that's how you stop and start. Left right here is for photos. Right starts video. On the right side of your controller, you have the tortoise and the hare. With the slider all the way in the tortoise, your drone is going to act and respond slowly. Whereas when you switch it to the hare, when you have a action, such as going up, left, right, whatever the case is to your quad, your reaction is going to be faster and the quad is going to move faster. I recommend for just starting out, use the tortoise. I always like to use the tortoise for takeoff and landing just because it's slow, you don't run into any draft issues, you don't, the prop wash, nothing like that. It gradually goes down nice and slow. On the left side, you've got your gimbal control. So if I put it up, you'll see out of focus, but the camera just moved. Let me put the camera in focus. Okay, so if I put the gimbal slider all the way down, you'll see the gimbal move. And you can see the video feed is now looking at the table, whereas if I put the slider back up, the gimbal will gradually move back up. And there you go, you can see my elbow. So guys, that pretty much is a real quick rundown of the controller and the quad itself without taking it out and flying it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Steadygrip now. Now we've grabbed the Steadygrip and we can go over a quick nomenclature of it before we go into too much detail. Looking at the top, so you grip it like that. Looking at the top, you have your phone clamp, which allows you to obviously clamp your phone in place to use as your screen when you're connecting it to the gimbal. You have your pitch control for once the camera is attached to go up and down. Mode selector switch, a power battery indicator light letting you know when it's on, so just like that, or when the battery's dying, whatever the case is. You got your on-off slider switch, slide right on, slide left off, and you've got your battery compartment down below. Now it does say rechargeable batteries, AA batteries only. They recommend that just because it uses 8 batteries, which is a lot of batteries. Using rechargeable ones that you can just recharge is obviously the best route to go. Now on forums, there are methods to install a LiPo battery in here instead of having to use 8 AA batteries. However, I have not done that modification as of yet. So if you can see right here, you've got your gimbal mount attachment, which once you remove that, you've got your little protective prongs. So we can go ahead and take the gimbal that we removed off the quad, slide it in place. So you hear that nice little click. And we're gonna take this little wire dangling right here and plug it into that plug, if you can see underneath there. Go ahead and set it on a flat surface again, just like the quad. Turn it on and give it a brief second when it doesn't feel any motion, and it'll automatically level out the gimbal. So I've got my phone now. I'm connecting it to the Wi-Fi from the gimbal, and I'm gonna go ahead and access the app. I've now accessed the app. You can see my live view of the gimbal. Go ahead and mount your phone in place, and there you go. You now have the gimbal attached. So you can see how the gimbal works. the camera always stays straight regardless of my motion. We can take that pitch control and aim it down, and the camera will adjust accordingly. So we'll put it about halfway for it to be level again. So this has been a brief unboxing and overview of the Yuneec Typhoon Q500 4K Quadcopter. As always guys, myself and Kay appreciate every one of you subscribed, and if you haven't already, consider doing that. It helps us keep the lights on and reminds us why we're doing all that. But guys, as always, we appreciate you, the community, watching our videos, commenting, providing us with the reassurance that we're doing this for a good cause. So you guys all have a good rest of your day.